You're listening to the VO Ventures podcast with Erica Dawn.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the VO Ventures podcast with me, Coach Erica Dawn. Glad to have you here for now episode number 4 of the podcast. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for sticking with me throughout this. So today's topic, we are going to talk about, can you record your own demo? But before we dive into all of that information about demos, I want to give a quick plug about the Intro to VoiceOver course, which is live and available to all listeners and anyone out there who is interested in getting involved. And we will be more than happy to have you join our program, join our class. Again, some of the things and features that you get by joining the class, you will be invited to our exclusive Facebook group where you'll be able to build relationships with other students of the program, as well as get some tips and advice from them. You will also get discounts on one-on-one coaching with me, and you will also be invited to all of our Lunch and Learn events. And again, as I've been announcing about these podcasts, and especially the audio drama podcast, where some opportunities will come your way as well, where that has been a goal of mine from the beginning, is to be able to eventually get to a place where I can actually provide some opportunities for my students, and we are here. So if you would like to get to that point and to that place quicker and with a coach by your side the entire time, our program is the program for you. So not only do we have Intro to VoiceOver, but we also have the Tech Talk, which is all about, the techniques behind recording and editing. And then also our VO marketing course, which tells you all about the marketing behind your VO business, and the audiobook narration course. So at least start with Intro to get yourself going, but you are more than welcome to dive into any of the other courses as well if you feel you're ready. If you're not ready for marketing, don't enroll in marketing. However, it is available to you. So again, if you use that code, you can definitely get 50% off. It is also in the show notes. It's in the description of this video if you're watching on YouTube. And it is going to be in the show notes of any distribution platform that you are listening to the podcast. So, all right. So without further ado, I've got my phone here that has all of the things that I want to touch on about demos. All right. So as I mentioned in episode 1, all of these topics are questions that I get either on my workshops or that people have emailed me or contacted me about. And demos is one of the biggest topics, obviously, that people want to know information about and how to do it. And so many people are trying to do it themselves and aren't doing it correctly. Okay, so definitely diving into that today because I want to make sure that however you are doing your demo, that you are doing it of quality so that it doesn't just get thrown out and you don't essentially, ruin all of your chances by trying to shop a demo that is not done correctly. Okay. So can I record my own demo? All right. I always get the question listed as can. Yes, you can. Should you? Probably not. Okay. Now, if you are skilled with editing, you know all of the ins and outs of broadcast editing and how levels are supposed to be, and you know how to edit out breaths, you know how to denoise, you know how to do all of those things of quality, and you also know how to produce music and background music that will have to go behind your demo, all of that, maybe you could get away with a DIY. Also, that comes part of your demo is the writing of your scripts. Where are you getting your scripts from? If you're getting your scripts from particular places, that may not be the best thing for your demo. Okay. I always encourage people to write your own scripts for your demos. That is the best way to go, so that you can make sure that nobody else is out there voicing the exact same ad that you're putting on your demo as work that you've done. Okay. So that is the first piece of advice, is to write your own scripts for your demos. Now, also, you have to know the technique behind the demo and how it is supposed to flow, the rules behind demos. So, one piece of advice would be to maybe first, whatever agencies, if you're trying to shop it to an agent, because those are two different things as well. If you're trying to shop to an agent, do your research about that agency and their submission processes. Okay. So if the agent is saying that we only accept 60-second demos, which is usually the standard across the board as far as what is acceptable for submission, do not submit a minute and 30 seconds. Okay. You have to pay attention to those things, because if they receive a file that appears to be longer than the 60-second mark, they're not even going to bother listening to it. Okay. Because not only do they not have the time, but also you're not following instruction. And following instruction is super important in this business and will get you just acting in general. If any of you have ever submitted to an acting gig, an on-camera acting audition or whatever, the submission criteria, if you don't follow that to a T, they're throwing you out. If your resume is not done according to how it should be, they're not going to bother wasting their time because you're not paying attention from the start. Okay. That's the same here in the voice acting business. You can't, just because you have a mic, just because you have a voice, doesn't mean that you should. Okay. Now, let me look at my list just so, because I can go on a whole rant about all of this. But a lot of times when I get this question, it is rooted in not an area of concern for, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, which is a lot of the time. Sometimes you just don't know better. But most of the time it's rooted in, how can I get away from paying for this, right? How can I get away with doing this the cheapest route I can? Because I don't want to pay a studio, or I don't want to pay for studio time. I don't want to pay an engineer. I don't want to pay for someone to coach me through it. I don't want to pay a director. Again, this is essentially your resume in this business. This is what is going to get you paid. This is what is going to get you signed. Why would you not want to invest in that piece of work that is going to help you get to so much more? Right? So, the first thing when it comes to demos is to start changing your mindset. And I do believe in season 2, I have it listed for us to talk about. I think episode 1 of season 2 is about your business mindset. So let's start here, okay? You have to start thinking about this as your business, and this is your calling card. Is this going to help you to get to more money later? Is this going to help to grow your business? You want to put out the best quality work that you can, which would require an investment, right? I had to pay for my professional demo. And my coach coached me along the way and actually produced the demo for me. But I had to pay for that. But guess what? It got me signed to an agent. It helped me to grow my business. So it was well worth it. All right. You may not have it yet, and that is okay. But wait until you do, before you jump out there and you start putting your demo out all over the place and it's not great. And then you try again and they remember you from before and they're like, we're not bothering to talk to this person or listen to this person because they didn't follow instructions the first time. They didn't do quality work the first time. They do not have time. They get hundreds and hundreds of submissions. They do not have time to pick apart what it is that you're doing. So you got to do it right the first time. Okay. Let's talk about some other things. Your coach should be able to tell you, if they are a professional voice actor and have been in this business and have had experience with producing demos of their own or for other people, they should know this. They should know the time duration that is averaged and that is requested or required of the industry. They should also be able to tell you what needs to go onto your demo. I've seen so many demos, or heard a lot of demos, because people submit demos to me all the time to listen to, because they want my opinion. But I've heard many demos that don't have the proper content. Okay. So I talk a lot about niching down in voice acting, but it is very important that you don't put yourself in a box with voice acting. And your demo, again, should be able to show that you are versatile and can do all the things. Okay. So there should be a nice balance and a nice flow to your demo that has the proper content, the proper scripts, the proper delivery style associated with each of those. I've seen demos where there's one song, background music playing through the entire demo, but the scripts are changing. I've heard demos where the delivery does not change. It's the same delivery style throughout the entire process. And it clearly sounds like they've done it all in one take. I've heard demos that have 30 seconds worth of the 1 minute that you have of just music playing or information about who you are and how to contact you and things like that in the demo. All incorrect. Okay. Your demo should have a nice flow to it. Your demo should change throughout to reflect your talent and your delivery styles. And it should be quality as far as the production is concerned, the sound levels. All of that matters. And these talent agents can hear all of that when they're listening. And as soon as they hit play, if they're not hearing what they are trying to hear, they're going to stop it and move on to the next because they do not have time to spend on you. Okay. And that's just, again, I told you I keep it real. That's just being real. They do not have time to spend on you unless you are already signed to the agency. Okay. So the last episode, I talked about how much does this all cost, right? We talked about cost of everything from coaching and training to your demos, to your equipment, all of that good stuff. If you haven't heard that episode, please go back and listen to it so that you can get a better understanding of what running a demo or producing a demo may cost you. Okay. But I want to touch more on budgeting and investing in your career. Okay. Again, I can go on and on and on about this, especially when we get into the business side of things and the marketing side of things. But I definitely want to touch on this right here, right now. Your demo, again, I've mentioned, is your business card, your resume, whatever you want to call it, for voice acting. Stop trying to go the cheap route. DIY, there's nothing wrong with doing it yourself as long as you know what you're doing. And the only way to know what you're doing is to be coached through the process. You can go to YouTube University if you want to and listen to tips. You can listen to podcasts such as mine to figure out what to do. You can come on to workshops that I do. But the best way for you to get the knowledge that you need in order to do these things is to actually hire a coach and get the direction that you need, or hire an engineer to be able to professionally produce your demo. Okay. Start saving your coins now. If you know that you want to have a demo produced and you want it to be of quality, start saving for it now because you will need to pay for it. All right. If you have never been coached on how to record and edit and you are producing a demo, more often than not, it is not correct. Now, on the flip side of that, get your practice in with recording and editing. Make some demos on your own so that you can start to learn how to record and edit. But it should be for the purpose of learning how to record and edit, not necessarily for getting jobs or to shop around to agents. Okay. It could be for social media purposes. It could be, okay, I want to practice with recording and editing. So I want to create a mini ad that I'm just going to put on my YouTube channel or put on my Instagram profile for people to listen to and give me feedback. Nothing wrong with doing that and investing that time for practice. Okay. Same with writing. Practice writing your scripts. I give advice in my courses on how to write those scripts and the best ways and best practices behind writing your own scripts. All right. So all of that matters when it comes to your demo. You want to make sure that your demo is the best quality that it can possibly be. You could have multiple demos. You could have multiple commercial demos. I do. I have the demo that I recorded 10 years ago, and I've recorded many others since then, right? And they've gotten better and better and better each time that I do them. But you can have multiple demos. You will need different demos if you are trying to get into audiobook narration and commercial voice acting. They're not the same. You're not going to submit to a commercial ad agency, or you're not going to submit to a talent agency that does commercial VO work an audiobook narration demo. You may need an audiobook narration demo for a platform like ACX, or if you're going to be actually sending it out to different publishing companies and things like that, you will need a narration demo, which is produced very much differently than a commercial demo. Same with if you are just focused on one niche, if you just want to do animated work, right? You may have a demo that just reflects animation. If you just only want to do gaming, you may have a demo that only reflects gaming. It is okay also to have many recordings of different styles so that if you are on a pay-to-play site or you are doing something such as Upwork and they're just requesting certain styles, you will have those styles ready and available to just submit, right? That's perfectly fine for you to do on your own. But when it comes to your professional demo, the full demos, should I say, they need to be professionally produced. Now, we also saw that with the pandemic, it was hard to get into a studio, right? It's hard to go into an actual studio and have somebody record for you with an engineer. There are ways that you can produce with an engineer through Source Connect to where you don't have to be in studio with the producer in order for it to be done. Or I actually do DIY demos, sort of DIY demos, but I am actually directing the process and helping with the editing of the process virtually with the client. And I have produced demos that way for people. Okay. So that's another option that you can do. And then I take everything and take it into post editing and I do all of the changes and everything that are necessary to make sure that the demo is put together properly, has the correct background music that goes according to the style of the VO and all of that. So that's another option, another route that you can go. There are many coaches out there that are doing that, many producers who are doing that as well. But again, it costs. You can't do it for free, and neither can they. So start to save up so that you can be prepared to have your demo produced. Okay. This is just one area that is just not the best to just do on your own and on the fly. You need assistance with it, you need help with it. And you should get the help that you need if you're really serious about wanting to be successful. Okay. So I think I've touched on mostly everything. We talked about what goes on the demo, proper ways to submit your demo, a little bit more on that with submission. Pay attention to details. Listen to what they're telling you. If you feel more comfortable having a minute and 30-second demo, as well as have a 60-second demo, a minute 20, whatever, fine. Have those ready and available so that in the event that they're saying we need a demo anywhere from 1 minute to 30 seconds, fine. You're very rarely going to hear any agencies or anybody say that they're looking for less than a minute, but it's safe to just stay at 60 seconds. That is the safe space. Stay at 60 seconds and you're good. And I know it sounds confusing. How am I going to fit all of these genres and all of these recordings into 60 seconds? Trust me, it can be done. These ads don't really run as long as you really think that they do. You can definitely make it work and make it happen as long as you're placing them in the correct spot, in the correct spaces. All right, so thank you so much for tuning into episode 4 of the VO Ventures podcast where we talk demos. Again, if you have any questions, you can always send them to me. I actually encourage you guys to send questions so that we can keep the episodes going and I could turn it into a whole episode. So if you have a specific question that may not be related to demos, but maybe about something else when it comes to the voice acting industry, go ahead and email me at ericadonvoices@gmail.com and I will be more than happy to put it on my list of things for us to talk about and chat about. Please, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you are subscribed. Make sure you drop a comment. I will respond to you. And make sure that you're listening on all of the other platforms as well: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Podcastle. Okay, so thank you all again for tuning in. Also, stay on the lookout because coming soon, later in the year, I will be hosting a DIY demo class. Okay. Which again, it's not 100% DIY because I am coaching you through the entire process. Okay. I am directing you through the entire process and making sure that your demo is of quality production, but in a group class setting And then I do all of the post editing for you, and you have a wonderful quality demo that you're able to send out there, okay? Because I want you guys to send out your best work in the best way that you can. So that will be coming a little bit later, but definitely if you're staying tuned to the podcast, if you're staying tuned to me on Instagram, social media, if you're enrolled in any of my courses, all of that, you will absolutely know when that is coming up. So stay on the lookout. And again, thank you so much for joining this episode, and I will see you guys later for episode 5. Bye.